It creates, well, the fake confidence is when you're really tense, yeah? And you want to put bravado on. You know those people with the false smile? You've seen them? You know, like this? I always crack up when I see that. That, you know, is false. That comes from insecurity, right? Okay, so what makes you feel secure? See, where does this confidence come from? You've got to find it for yourself. So if your lack of confidence comes from insecurity, not knowing what you do, then you have to ask yourself, why am I doing this? Okay, so say for instance, you're going on, you're not feeling very confident, yeah? You ask yourself, well then, if I'm not feeling confident about this, why am I doing it? Why are you doing it? Why do you dance? Because you like it. Yeah. What's the feeling it gives you? Does it make you feel free? Does it make you feel that you can do anything? Does it make you happy? What does the music do to you? Yeah, it's a combination, isn't it? The music and the dance. It's like you're actually want to express the music, which is a feeling. You're expressing something about yourself in the dance, right?
And that's linked to confidence?
That is actually linked to confidence because we're going around in a circle here, yeah? Okay. That's what happens when you start going in here, right? When you actually can find the reason that you do something and the reason that you love it, you'll have more confidence in it. But you've got to find your core belief, right? So if for instance, you're doing it because your parents wanted you to do it, because your dance partner wants you to do it, or because you want to get girls, or I don't know why you might do it, then you're really not going to feel much, are you? Most people, if they're doing it not of their own reason, don't really succeed. There has to be, we're all selfish creatures in our own way, so there has to be a reason that you choose to do it. And that's what gives you that confidence, if that's the reason. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay, so part of it is you know how to do the steps. You know how to do the steps, right? So you can be confident in the fact that your body actually knows how to do the steps, right? So the confidence that you're talking about is confidence that you can go out there and perform those steps to a certain ability in front of people, right? So then we take it down to the fact that perhaps you feel a little bit nervous about going, that you might make the wrong step, that you may not do it right yet. So that's not really a lack of confidence. That's actually a fear, right? So it's very easy to confuse fear with a lack of confidence. To say, oh yeah, I'm not very confident at that. Actually, probably you're very confident at the steps, you know? It's just performing in front of people, or fear of failing, fear of looking like a fool, you know? Something like that could be going on that's got nothing to do with your confidence. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah? Okay.
What do you think about the whole like fake it till you make it thing? And you know, that fake confidence can, you know, if you're not feeling great, you put on a smile, you can actually end up, you can feel good after that.
Yeah. Yeah.
The real feel.
That happens when you've already had success, do you know, and you're already feeling good about it, and you're just having an off day. That you don't do that for 5 years or 10 years. You know, that's not a long-lasting thing. So yeah, you're right in that. Some days you just... Sorry?
What if you haven't had success?
But if you look... yeah, see, it's what you gauge as success. Success can be, I learnt the steps to that dance, right? So you've got to take the success down into little increments rather than say, okay, my only vision of success is the grand prize at the end. Because the brain is an interesting thing, right? If every time you do those steps, yeah, and you think, yeah, that was okay, but you know, my eyes over here on the prize, what you do to your brain is you deactivate a part of your brain that's actually related to success. Hang on a sec, I'm nearly finished. That's related to success. So you start to then think that you're a failure, right? And then that energy or that thought just turns into a bigger and bigger ball. But this is amazing. If every time you do those steps or you learn something new, you have a party around it and you congratulate yourself and you feel really good, what will happen to the chemicals in your brain? They will get very used to feeling success, right? So what happens is your mind, the little synapses in your mind waken up and they go, oh, what else can we do to make this guy feel successful? And you start experiencing more and more things that make you feel successful. Do you see what I'm saying? It's really interesting. So every time you learn something new, it's really important to congratulate yourself and feel happy about it. You know? Don't go off saying, oh yeah, but I only learned half of it, didn't learn all of it. Oh great, I did a half hour today. Look, I do 10 minutes exercise a day, it's obvious, right? And I'm happy about it. That's all I'm going to say. And what would you like to ask, love?
Does that mean that you put your mindset to something in order to like get success?
Yes, you can. But look, say the grand prize is here. It's the mirror ball, right? If you keep thinking about that mirror ball and that's the only thing that signifies success, you're going to fail every way that you can on the way to that ball. And it's going to get heavier and heavier. So what you're going to use to get there is sheer will, right? All your energy. You'll be sick by the time you get the mirror ball because you would have used so much of your energy to get there, right? This is about wisdom, using your energy right. If you actually train your mind to be successful, to congratulate yourself every time you learn something new and every time you do something good, that will be so much easier to obtain simply because your mind is set up for success. Do you see? Because it's true that your mind doesn't know the difference between something you imagine and something you experience physically. Now, it's been scientifically proven. Right? So you can also visualize that all the time. But the important thing is this. Like you read these books and they say, oh yeah, visualize, visualize. Yeah, that's really good. It's great. But you have to feel it because you, as dancers, are emotional people. If you were working in an office, right, and you were just dealing with numbers and just purely business, go for it. Visualize it, fine. Because that's very, very, you know, mind-based. But because you're all emotional-based, you can't go along that track. You have to feel it. So you can visualize it, but the most important thing is to feel how it feels for you to hold that, to have that. Yeah? And then your mind, your body will go about creating experiences so that you can manifest it. That's what happens. Yeah? Any questions? Yeah?
Yeah, I understand the importance of changing negative emotions like fear. I used to always get very nervous.
Yeah.
One competition, I changed that, and ever since I don't get nervous. However, just saying change it to excitement, I don't think works. Because if I get excited, which is very easy, I lose control.
Okay.
Anyone that remembers my past 5 years ago, I was very excited.
Okay, that's a good
excitement
point.
isn't everything.
Yes,
I
true.
find I have to be calm and composed, and then I can generate the right energy.
Exactly. What I was doing is just getting people to get to that point first, you know, to
I know,
understand.
you just tell them that much. I'm going to go out and be excited, and I'm going to dance well.
That's good. That's a good point. It's a very valid point. So when you get to that point of actually opening your energy up, you've got to give it some direction, right? Which you're going to do anyway, yeah? So what happens between you and your partner that really annoys you? It's your sister. And you dance with your brother? Okay. You must find that very difficult.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I suppose it works better because, you know, you're closer, but yeah, other times it frustrates.
You're allowed to
We can say things to each other that you couldn't really say to anyone else.
Yeah, but there's two sides of that as well,
Yeah.
of brothers and sisters dancing together. As my children dance together also, right? And that's one of them sitting there in the middle. That's my son. But the thing is, the best thing about two people dancing together as brother and sister, you haven't got the baggage of the other family and the other half, right? And that's the biggest problem within our dance industry is, and don't get me wrong, coaches also come into this as well, because you'll get little Johnny and little Sally are dancing. That's very good, you dance well. You should win today. Little Johnny and Sally don't win. So next competition, you should have won today, little Sally still doesn't win. So all of a sudden, talking to the coach says, little Johnny didn't dance well, Sally was lovely. And then when they talk to little Johnny's parents, little Johnny danced fabulously, Sally didn't dance well. Now all of a sudden you have a problem between both families. All right? That's where most of our problems start.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see.
From the coaching to the families, right? And what you said about have an idea of congratulating yourself because you're good and you're a winner, how does the couple then also relate that to their attitude, not attitude, but level of ability? That's the biggest problem. What they congratulate themselves for and their level of ability, because the coaches come in and tell them they're fabulous. So they get this false understanding of their ability. Now, I danced for 30 odd years, and I can count one hand the amount of times that I was told I danced really well and I was fabulous. Yes, Mr. Hurley? Right? Right? It was always what I had to improve. And I don't regret that.
Yeah, well...
So there's a false understanding out there between what their actual ability is and where they perceive they should be at.
I hear what you're saying, but I also feel that I think that society in general has developed a great deal, and we view things in a different way, whereas before we would sort of, I know with my parents when I was growing up, it was more the hard line with everything, whereas now we're kind of more getting into their emotions and how they're feeling and making sure that everyone's okay on that level. So I do understand what you're saying, but at the same time, I think everybody is an individual. Each relationship is uniquely individual, and you can't really encompass it into one thing. Because for some kids, actually, if they hear that statement, they're doing really well, they will then go and do really well. Whereas other kids will become lazy because someone said, oh, you did really well there, well, you didn't have to do it so hard next time, you know? So it really depends on the individual, I feel. But I do understand what you're saying. And then again, it gets down to honesty as well. So how we communicate to each other is really important. When you've got people saying, particularly different parents when their kids are really young, you know, oh, but my son did this and yours did that and blah, 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 you know, then it's no longer about the kids. It's actually about the parents having some sort of dynamics that are going on, which is very hard again then for anyone who's working with those kids, because then they have to work with the parents as well as the kids. So the whole dynamic of it becomes very complicated.